Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I don't naturally sound like a white person, a Jewish person, a nerd, or an LGBT person. Let me explain this briefly before we get into Mark Driscoll Part 3. So they fuel me heavily all the time, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, or however long it's been, they've been fueling me extra heavily at night. So I wake up with a very sore throat, and um, somebody, they had a commercial with somebody drinking milk. And just recently, they've allowed me to drink milk because I do something to the food and the drinks here. Everywhere I go, it's back in California as well, everywhere, different cities, all up and down that long state, what have you. So I started drinking the milk to kind of deal with the sore throat, right? And using throat lozenges, what have you. And that makes it so I sound more like a gay person. And they also covertly edit the videos after the fact. They've covertly edited thousands and thousands of my videos. All my videos on the internet right now are covertly edited. Okay, so that's why I sound the way I do. So I'm gonna try to make this brief here because this video is being made a second time and it's holding up the other videos. If you want, you can look at the transcript, but they often change the words in the transcript, sometimes contradicting what I'm saying. But I'm gonna try to keep this brief here. So first of all, I pronounce punishments on everybody who has anything to do with persecuting me and everyone outside the divine order according to their deeds. A lot of people have found out the hard way why it was stupid to persecute me. Some people have probably resigned. I know for sure that some people felt a lot of deep pain knowing that their family members have died recently at the time. At that time, around that time, that they were feeling that pain and that they were persecuting me. So they felt extreme regret and pain. I have no regrets whatsoever. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, let this be a lesson to all of you. Learn from the example of the failed military paths, the PSYOP paths, mental health failed path, the failed paths of the churches, the mosques, the synagogues, and all the philosophies. Okay? Now, this is not hate speech or something. These are the facts here. It's what the facts show us. As human beings, we have to decide what path to take, and all other paths have failed except for mine. And you see it by their fruit, what have you. Let it be a lesson to all of you, and hopefully you scramble and obey God through me before it's too late. So we know the people in suits who go to nice restaurants who try to, show everyone up are some of the most guilty people out there. Okay, why are they allowed to have enough money to own a suit, to look quote unquote good while everyone else is sabotaged more than they are, so on and so forth. They're like politicians acting, and they're in a state of deep, deep disgrace, deep disgrace. So now let's get into it. So correcting Driscoll, this is the last part. Let's just go through this real quickly here. Being a Christian, in truth, is not about finding common ground and compromising. It is about perfecting oneself by obeying God through me. Okay, before my flesh dies and it's too late. Matthew 5 makes that clear. So he claims that studies show that transgender types, remember this is his claim, are less mentally stable, and by grouping and association that has implications on LGBT people. For example, if somebody's gay, more gay than average, they might go to a gay parade. If they're more gay than that, they might be a cross-dresser. If they're more gay than that, they might be a transgender. Everyone sees it that way. Now, because YouTube has been arguing with me, this is the second time making this video because on a different channel, they removed the video and rejected my appeal when I said something that was clearly not hate speech, because YouTube is enforcing white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy, and they think it makes them tough to try to censor Jesus and say, you can't say that. So the Google is run by the NSA and the CIA and whoever else, okay, collaborating to try to take away your rights and try to force you to think a certain way. They do what's known as operant conditioning using technology. So I must rebuke YouTube and the people pulling their strings for that very racist act that they did against me, because they did it in the name of white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy. If they keep making this an issue, I might very well sue them, but that's the least of their concerns. They should be concerned about God Almighty watching them as they do these racist acts in the name of preventing hate speech, ironically. The racist acts that they're doing against me by suppressing my videos, what have you. Okay, so notice I'm in charge, not YouTube, not the government. I'm sure we can all agree on that. So God through me, I'm at God's right hand. He put me in charge of the world. Okay, so anyone who thinks otherwise, sit down and shut your mouth. I'm Jesus. Who are you? Thank you. Okay, so moving on here. Now, the left wing often talks about white denial, white fragility, white guilt, and white privilege. So Jews, more often than not, are seen as white. So do they benefit from these things unfairly? I'm not going to weigh in here. I'll put it in the comments because of them, unfairly enforcing the rules. Whoever's doing it, okay, maybe they're trying to scapegoat this group or that group, but we know what the truth is in regards to that. Take a moment to pause it and think about what that means. So then it's 1 John 2:15. It says, don't love the world, anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. Are you supposed to love racial, social norms? Or are you supposed to obey God through me? Universal pinpoint and moral precision. It's a Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order. It's not a Royal, damn European or any other race order. Okay, and it's not hate speech. I'm making it clear here that we all come from Africa, not Europe or Israel or the Middle East or anyone else in America, Asia, you name it. We come from Africa. So when we look for our roots, religion means to rejoin. We must look to Africa. And anyone who tells you otherwise is racist as hell. Even the Bible in Amos 9:7, it says this: "Are you not as the children of the Cushites unto me, O children of Israel?" Telling you flat out that the root of humans is in Africa. Think about it. It's saying, are you not like them and not like Europeans or Israelis? Are you not like Africans? Are you not like the children of the Cushites unto me? Okay, so I'm quoting a little bit wrong. They're making it hard for me to speak here. Let's just go ahead and dock them for that, and let's keep going here. It basically says that they're the same as black Africans, not whites or Israelis, who are very whitewashed people. So the culture of God is a black African culture. Exodus 15:3, the Lord is the word, the Lord is his name. Like Nimrod, a mighty hunter for the Lord, the proverbial saying in Genesis 10, it says it's a black African culture. And it's wrong for whites, Jews, and LGBT people to use YouTube to crack down on me for racial supremacy. If people at YouTube want to send me some money or want to apologize, okay, I'll probably accept their apology then. Okay, just within reason, within the boundaries of righteousness and justice. Okay, if they don't want to try to do something to make it up to me, like stop censoring my videos and compensate me for the censorship, okay, then I'm going to have to keep being harsh on them and their families, and I'll continue in the afterlife, on them and their families' souls, because they raised them, because of the offspring of that family tree. Okay. Now, some of you might say that went too far, but I think that's fair, and I think we can all agree, because of the nature of what's going on. They're cracking down on me in the name of racial supremacy, for the military, the governing class, for a bunch of people who have severe mental illness, who are racist against me. And they're doing it for their families. When they're doing it for their race, they're doing it like for their families and their race first and foremost. So it's fair for me to rebuke them by race and family, like we see in the Bible. And I'm Christ, and I've proven that in person. And the people at YouTube are censoring me. The evidence strongly suggests, to say the least, that they know what my arguments are. They know what I said wasn't racist, and they didn't like that I was talking about LGBT people, white people, and Jewish people in a way that was honest, and so they abused their worldly power, whatever you want to call that feeble power they have. Okay. So where was I here? So many white people historically argued that their race is superior. Is that okay with all of you? Okay. The Klan, there was millions of them. Nazi Germany, the colonists, right? Manifest destiny, nation building, continentalism, expansion. Is that okay with you people? The people who work with YouTube, is that okay with you? Okay. All right, so part of what it means to love and practice falsehood is to subtly or otherwise argue that whites and Jews and LGBT people are superior and that they civilize everyone else and things of that nature. Okay, so Driscoll argues that the right wing is the party of dad and the left wing is the party of mom. Now, both these parties are obviously whitewashed. Is Obama whitewashed? Yes. AOC? Yes. So there's a bunch of white and whitewashed people on the right wing and the left wing. Can we all agree on that? Okay. So for him to say that is to say that everyone's supposed to be whitewashed, right? He says that's the party of dad and the other one's the party of mom, right? Like everyone's supposed to be in white culture, which is wrong. This country's supposed to be multicultural and allow you to have your freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and right to pursue happiness, not within the boundaries of white supremacy or white and Jewish culture. So you see how I'm clearly in the right and they're clearly in the wrong? Open and shut. Okay. So basically what he's arguing is subtly suggesting, Southern and otherwise, that everyone should be forced into a white form of Christianity, and that liberals, according to him, are the enemies of God, right? Superimposing the left on the idea of a liberal, someone who wants individual rights, like what I just described, and who has an open mind within reason, not someone who's forced by these behind-the-scene types to be in a variation of white Christianity or any other white culture or any other culture, but rather has their freedom and their right to hear the truth, right? Put a lamp on its stand. Not a Luciferian, Freemasonic, or Catholic, Sons of Italy, Knights of Columbus, whatever kind of behind-the-scenes Zionist, what most people would agree is a Luciferian light, okay, but rather the true light of universal pinpoint and moral precision, the light of justice, Isaiah 51:4. Okay, I can't stress enough that it is not racist to point out that the master path could not possibly be found within the boundaries of white culture. Now, how do we know this? Well, we know this because of Amos 9:7, right? Are you not as the children of the Cushites, of black people unto me, O children of Israel? Proverbs 17:2, where it says, a prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and share the inheritance as one of the family. Regardless of who you think are the servants and who the sons are, prudence is what matters. So we're looking for fruit, like it says in Matthew 7, right? You know them by their fruit. So we know that Martin Luther King is like the lion here. In the end times, somebody who's greater than Martin Luther King should be leading. No one else fits the description except for me. Okay, I'm the only one who fits the description, rather. Okay. So this is obvious, right? If someone told you that, hey, Michael Jordan's one of the best basketball players of all time, would you deny that because he's black? If someone told you that Nigerians, on average, tend to have better grades than other races in this country, historically, at least at some points in American history, even though black people are the most stigmatized race, would you deny that because they're black? Who taught you that it is who taught you that it is black supremacy? Who taught you that it is black supremacy to point out that God's order is a Royal African Falcon martial art order? Who taught you that? And why are black people the most stigmatized people on the planet in spite of Martin Luther King, Michael Jordan, Nelson Mandela, Shaka Zulu, the first king of Egypt, Narmer, the first king of dynastic Egypt, okay, and so on and so forth, right? Who taught you to stigmatize righteous black people and to use the association with black drug addicts and gang members, what have you, to stigmatize righteous black people, and why is society turning black people into criminals at such high rates when we don't see that in many peaceful places in Africa? Some of the most peaceful places on the planet are in Africa. So why are some of the worst criminals among black people here in America and in other Western countries? Who taught them to be that way? And for what purpose, right? For their contrast games, to pretend that they're superior. Contrast and contrast. Pretty straightforward, right? So did white people hijack Martin Luther King's movement? Are they downplaying the deeper martial arts significance of Tyson fighting the way he did, or Ali, okay, Mayweather, Sugar Ray, Leonard, Sugar Ray, and the other one as well, Robinson? Okay, so could it be that black people are so good at sports because the greatest martial artists historically were black? There's a thought, right? Could it be that it's not just physical prowess, but the brain, right? The frontal lobe, right? Judgment, movement, emotion, sexual behavior, that these things are connected, okay? Which goes back to, judgment is very key. Judgment day, first remove the log from your own eye, then you will see clearly to judge, right? To have the wisdom to judge. So judgment reflects wisdom more than anything else, right? Life judgments. Judgment and martial art judgments are the highest form of judgment. Okay. That we're seeing expressed among people. Now, and obviously, God's looking for that. Judges 3, Exodus 15:3, Isaiah 42:13, I believe it is. I used to quote that one all the time. What have you. So if I'm not mistaken, I can go ahead and end it right there. Oh, no. Okay, so he talks about the eunuchs in Babylon, right? The word eunuchs is like the word eugenics. That's not a coincidence, right? And who did the eugenics? It was white Jew and LGBT people historically. Then when Nazi Germany rose, okay, in popular culture, the Jews and the LGBT people took a step back, but we're seeing a lot of evidence will say that they're at the forefront with the white man doing eugenics these days. Okay, it's not hate speech. These are just facts. If you disagree, put it in the comments. Don't be some kind of whiner who just, I don't like what he's saying, and report it to YouTube or something. That's pathetic. No serious, self-respecting group of people, a religion, a nation, a race, whatever, family, would take that route. It's a deep disgrace that they take that route. Okay. So we see that there's a corporate global alliance, okay, that's run mostly by white, Jew, and LGBT people. Now, why is this significant? Because I'm being persecuted by white, Jew, and LGBT people. You see what I'm saying? They're the main ones leading the charge, and they got everyone dancing to their tune, right? We speak English in America. Most people in America are white or whitewashed. Among the most rich, wealthiest Americans are people of Jewish descent. Even Elon Musk is of Jewish descent. He's the richest person on the planet. And then Bill Gates looks like a Jew. Epstein looked like he was a Jew. Larry Ellison looks like a Jew. Zuckerberg says he's, and on and on and on. So why are the most pronounced rich people Jews, and should we leave that out when we consider what's going on? Okay, is that hate speech to point that out? No. Part of sociology is considering how races relate to each other. Part of psychology. Part of economics, really. Part of politics. To say that you can't break it down because some people don't like what you're saying is stupid. There's a difference between saying that you hate a group of people because of their race, okay, and pointing out the obvious facts and putting it together to explain what's going on and who's doing who more wrong and why. And what are the spectrums and variations of racial groupings and so on and so forth. Okay, so okay. So there's gonna be a bunch of statistics at the end of this video. I'll just leave it there. I went over time. This video is actually longer than the first video I made, and I didn't want it to be that way. But I had to explain a lot of things here. Thank you.